Yeah, Misty Knight got a vibranium arm.
Got a who?
She got a vibranium arm. It might not be vibranium in the actual show, but like Misty Knight's been a character in Marvel Comics for forever.
Right.
And she was actually Jean Grey's best friend back in the day where like the X-Men, when she like lived away from the X-Mansion, because I mean, really, who wants to live under the tutelage of Xavier for that long without wanting to go fucking crazy?
I do feel like it's a little bit of a cop-out that Night Nurse ends up spending most of the season gone.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting. I also find it obnoxious that this is a thing I remember seeing on Cracked a while ago, where it's weird that it seems like white or like men of color in fiction cannot end up with white women. And in actuality, in the comics, Luke and Jessica are like the only stable couple in Marvel history. Like,
the funny thing is, in the series, they're not together at all. They were just fuck buddies.
Yeah, which is really weird because like they're actually a very stable, adorable couple in the comic. Like they both have super dark pasts, and their comics are still super dark because Jessica, in the end, runs Alias investigations and like has to deal with her noir shit on a daily basis. And like Luke Cage's What If a Blaxploitation Movie was a comic book. Like he has to deal with crazy shit too. And they're a fantastic couple that's great for each other. And it's really weird to be like, Rosario Dawson got roped into, okay, I mean, I guess fine, Night Nurse is with Kate. Why can't he and Jessica be what the fuck? Marvel, are we still following this weird, stupid trend where like men of color can't be with white women? This seems dumb.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that like the role that they've set for Jessica in her films is she is going to be always by herself with friends, but because a part of it is supposed to be her growing stronger by herself.
Right, which is, I guess, also part of what makes noir is you kind of have to have that. I guess Luke, for the first season of Jessica Jones, is very much the male version of a femme fatale character, which is interesting and kind of cool, actually, and especially me being the noir nerd I am, it's interesting to be like, oh, all of these tropes got turned on their head. This is cool.
I do really enjoy the fact that they introduced Luke Cage as a person who's just a guy who owns a bar.
Yeah, and then turns out he's also Power Man.
Yeah, that's great.
Turns out you cannot kill this man. And just fucking impossible.
The way he was introduced into the MCU is interesting.
Invincible bartender.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that his first major villain in the first Luke Cage season is actually just a normal guy who's running a crime syndicate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mahershala Ali as Cottonmouth in the first Luke Cage season is fantastic. He's just a normal guy who's running a crime syndicate that, like, yeah, Luke, you can't just punch this dude in the face and end his crime wave. Like, he has a normal face to the community. Like, you'd be seen as an awful person. You can't just punch people.
There are serious repercussions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that as a villain. I feel like they've gotten a little bit too cartoony with him. Mm-hmm. He's still fine. I love the show, but I'm like, Like, Diamondback was... What if old school black preacher from the South also had superpowers and a gun that can shoot diamond? Like, that just sounds stupid when you say it out loud.
Welcome to the Marvel Universe?
I mean, I guess. We did an entire show about that, didn't we?
Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
And we should get into it.
I keep forgetting that we're recording when we do this.
Yeah.
That's the part. That is the point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at the giant red circle on the recording device as I'm checking my phone right now.
That's the best part. Fair. It's important that you don't think about us recording, because we're just having a nerdy conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1! Hi, I'm John.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Ben, and this is Rush Hour.
Just right into it. He's so excited.
He rushed into it.
We're not. Don't ruin this.
Didn't even. That movie is so full of puns. You can't try and pull that.
No.
Half the gag of that movie is Jackie Chan making bad puns. Chris Tucker giving him like a face of just disappointment, and then the movie continuing. Like, that's the gag.
I appreciate that you paused for that, and that wasn't an edit that John had to make.
No, just kind of making that face of just utter disappointment that Chris Tucker is so good at making. Just like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
So this is Rush Hour, the pre-Rush Hour story. So anywhere between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. in any major city. I'm trying.
That is a dragged out pun.
Or 7 to 9 a.m. Every morning.
Wait,
in
7
every
of 9?
city.
What?
7 of 9, yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's the one from 6 of 9, which is The Prisoner.
Hey.
Don't at me. Don't at me, motherfuckers. Because I don't have a Twitter.
Number 6.
Yeah,
you are number 6.
The best science fiction show outside the Twilight Zone.
Check it out.
It's really good.
I had more jokes, but continue with the actual show.
Today we're talking about Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan monumental movie that spawned a trilogy. Started off in 1998, specifically September 18th, 1998. It had a budget of $33 million and a gross of...
How much hilarious amount of money did this movie make?
Gross, not net. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the gross? 33 some odd?
No, the budget was 33.
Budget was 33. Okay, got it.
I'm going to go for 280 mil.
280. Damn, I was going to
280 mil.
200. 350.
You were both all above, unfortunately.
Fuck!
This is a
150?
This is $244 million.
That's still like, that's still a 211 gross. That's
that is a
good.
shit ton of money. And for the record, Andrew won this competition. He was the closest.
I was gonna.
However, he went over, so he does not go.
So Price is Right style. I lose.
Yeah. We both lose.
Bump it up. Wow.
So I went into researching this movie, and I will say this is a movie that has a note for being one of the shortest Wikipedia entries of any movie we've watched, including Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has a pretty in-depth entry.
I would know I wrote it. I didn't actually.
Rush Hour, there were no like controversies or anything like that during filming or like...
just crazy bullshit.
Yeah, there's no interesting notes about reception or anything like that.
Turns out the producer and director are both just Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in face.
Whoa, hold that thought though.
So the director for this film was Brett Ratner.
Oh no.
That's a better first reaction than I had, where John told me that, and I was like, okay, cool. And then he's like, but not okay, cool. Because...
oh no.
So Brett Ratner, for those of you who don't know, is kind of a shitbag. He's famous for outing Ellen Page as being interested in women on the set of X-Men Last Stand.
And like doing it in the shittiest way too. It's like, oh, it turns out she likes girl. Like, fuck, was this your problem, Brett? Can you fucking not?
It turns out it might have been his problem because he also has a history of sexually harassing and sexually abusing and potentially raping people he works with.
God damn it, Brett Ratner.
There's two things. One, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, Ben.
One is that I hate the phrase potentially rape. Not that it's not...
probably just did.
I'm not upset at your word choice. I'm just saying that we can't, like, that's the state of Hollywood.
Well,
this is where we're at, I
guess. The reason I use the word potentially is that, like, these are claims that are made by people when they're not substantiated by anything other than a person's claim.
You're correct.
And it's like, it's a terrible thing to throw someone completely on the fire about something that you can't substantiate.
Sure.
However, he is currently in the middle of a lawsuit concerning him. He started a lawsuit about libel concerning someone who claims that he took advantage of them sexually when they were drunk at a club. So it's like, okay, there's enough...
And how many allegations is it just fact?
No, there's the thing. It's like, here is why first of all, always believe the person who's accusing.
You're right.
Trust, but verify.
Yes. Here's the thing. Always believe people, but believing doesn't mean it's true.
Hey, remember when we were a fun podcast that did fun things?
We do fun things. Rush Hour is a fun movie.
You were not ruining my Rush Hour podcast. I've been begging John for this for 2 years
But
now.
It was directed by an asshole.
We'll get back to that. But the thing is, like, this is a person who's done potentially terrible things.
Yes.
And we're just going to push that all to the side and enjoy Ben's favorite movie of all time, Rush Hour.
I'm going to change the wording of that ever so slightly in saying we will acknowledge it and appreciate the art for what it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
This I'm not usually a huge proponent of appreciate the art, not the artist, because that's bullshit. But at the
Ender's
same time,
Game is a very good book.
At the same time, I would argue that Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan bring more to this film than the director.
Yeah, side note for all those of you who don't know, Orson Scott Card is also a professional shitbag.
Yeah, Orson Scott Card is a shitbag. I still enjoy the Ender series of books.
Stephen King keeps writing weird, possibly pedophilic scenes in his books, and nobody stops him.
Not to mention he's got a hard-on for New England, but...
I mean, that's also, like...
specifically Maine?
He also did a lot of cocaine, but, like... That's neither here nor there.
I was just gonna say that's the entirety of New England.
I'm also pretty sure I'm also pretty sure Ric Flair did an entire human being's worth of cocaine in like one night.
Hey, that's our wrestling bit in the Rush Hour podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
I love it.
I am pretty sure Ric Flair is probably also a professional shitbag.
Anyway, this movie is a perfect combination of classic Jackie Chan films and Chris Tucker comedian style.
Yeah.
Like, the two of them together just make this crazy combo that somehow works, but it shouldn't work. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. It is delicious.
This movie is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of action films.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have a food analogy here because I don't eat Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
You don't eat a lot of things.
You don't eat a lot of things. We don't get on you for that. You can at Ben, look him up.
At Ben.
I was gonna say.
Forgot my Twitter.
I was gonna say.
I've never paid attention.
Quick note. When did The Fifth Element come out?
What the fuck?
I'm gonna say that was probably like 19...
Chris Tucker.
So that was probably like 96, 97.
So what was Chris Tucker doing between... So wait, no, there's no way The Fifth Element was 97.
Anyway, that's not important.
I'm trying to connect Chris Tucker's career to this.
Look that up. Ben,
yes.
Go ahead and gush for a little bit. Tell me why you love Rush Hour.
Okay, so, I mean, granted, you said it came out, what, 99, 97?
98.
98. Okay, cool. This is the first DVD I ever owned, for the record. And it was one of those... Remember when DVD covers weren't all plastic, but it was actually paper front?
That paper
and you had to
fold over?
snap it off. Yeah, I love that. Anyway, no, I remember just watching it when I was a very young teenager and not understanding many of the references and just being thrilled about an action comedy movie that was super fun. Like, how do I even explain? Like, you know how people have a fucking fascination with Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like, that was their childhood. They watched it with their parents. They watched that, whatever. I fucking watched Rush Hour time and time again. Like, I watch this every 6 months now as an adult because that's when I can make time to do it. It's just, I don't know, it's just so good. It's Chris Tucker comedy, Jackie Chan comedy, Jackie Chan action, Chris Tucker trying. Like, that's...
So what would you say is a thing that really sets this apart from other movies other than it being a movie you saw when you were a kid?
Because it's a movie that takes the piss out of itself while still delivering on the actual, like, action about it, right? Like, because you can watch bad action movies for comedy's sake. Like, that's Seth Rogen's entire career.
Yes.
And you can watch action movies that aren't very funny, which is your Jean-Claude Van Damme's and your Stallones and your whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the beautiful, like, if you're a centrist in the movies between action and comedy, like, this is Rush Hour. It fits every niche. You can watch it and walk away like, that was a fun fucking movie. And sure, there's probably plot holes. I don't really care. This is a movie I'm not going to hyperanalyze because I'm not going to ruin my childhood.
Well, you're on the wrong show because we hyperanalyze everything.
Yeah, true. Like, you work here vaguely. Do we work?
I mean, we're not being paid to do it, so I guess it's volunteer work.
Hey, Audible. You want to fucking sponsor us? That'd be super cool.
Audible, you want to get 3 dudes rambling for like an hour?
And no viewers.
Hire
no
me.
Viewers. No actual viewers.
No, shut your mouth. I will read the entirety of the Rush Hour script front to back, and that could be an Audible thing.
They won't pay you for that.
Do you know how many fans we have? Andrew, edit out the answer.
That being said, we do...
No one respond to that.
If you guys want to know the number, I can drop it on you, but...
Nope.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyway, so I assume you have numbers for us?
Numbers about what?
Other numbers, I don't know.
No.
You're the one who was looking up The Fifth Element.
Like,
The Fifth Element was 97, so this is actually relatively close to like Chris Tucker.
So I called it.
Yeah, you did. So this is like the beginning of Chris Tucker becoming more of a popular sort of star.
Okay.
Actually,
apparently the 90s were like mostly the Def Jam comedy jam. stuff like that for him. So this was like him going to movies full. I think Friday was before this. Whatever.
Ben, have you ever seen Fifth Element?
No.
Okay, so those of you who've never seen, those of you who are interested, we're going to make Ben watch Fifth Element at some point because Andrew and I don't even have to ask Andrew. We both love that movie. You don't?
I'm very.
Oh,
iffy.
we are going to watch that
I'm very
movie.
iffy on it.
Oh my god, we are going to watch that movie.
Well, so let me take over the question for a second. So I've been dying for this episode for a very long time.
Yeah.
We will do Rush Hour 2, but that's down the road on my birthday. I just decided that.
Yeah, that's that's a fair argument to make.
So
sure, man.
This question usually comes to me, but I'm going to turn it back. What is your guys' experiences with this movie? I'm assuming you've both watched it, but obviously you're not a super fan as I am.
No.
How is it just like a movie that it's in your repertoire, like you know it exists, you could answer a trivia question about it, like where are you at?
I mean, I've certainly watched a lot of it. I would say this was back during those days where I didn't watch a whole lot of because I don't know what this movie came out when I was 8. Like I didn't watch a whole lot of like I'm gonna go see a movie in the theaters because I couldn't. This is definitely one of those movies that was like on TNT constantly, and I would have nothing to do in the summer. Like this was one of those movies where I'm like, sweet, Rush Hour's on. Like I'll watch that. It was at that stage of like me owning cable.
Okay.
And like it was a summer movie. It's on. This sounds like fun.
Right.
For me personally, this has always been like a Jackie Chan film that was kind of like, remember when they made a Mr. Bean film?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like all of the skits in that movie were kind of like things that were ripped from the TV show.
Yes.
A lot of things like the Jackie Chan really things, because I came into this as a Jackie Chan fan.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen most of his movies, and my memories of it were watching it and just being like, oh man, they ripped a bunch of his stunts from movies he's already done. And so it's like, for me, it was sort of like that kind of experience, like the Mr. Bean thing, where it's like, I've seen all of this before.
I've seen this, but in a different package.
Yeah.
And it's now an American movie.
Yeah. And so for me, it was kind of like watching a best of reel with Chris Tucker.
No.
With Chris Tucker doing like the color commentary.
Yeah, with Chris Tucker being like, oh man, ah!
Chris Tucker is
you're crazy!
Chris Tucker is genuinely underrated as a comedian.
No, don't get me wrong. I enjoy Chris Tucker. I just think that like he got caught in a niche as an actor. He got typecast.
Yeah. I feel like I hated him in the Fifth
Typecast?
Element
Is
more.
it type?
Typecast.
Yeah.
You were fine. Yeah.
I just came up with a story that epitomizes how much I am obsessed with this movie.
Sure.
I moved to Kansas City in 2014 for a year.
Okay.
Kansas City, Kansas?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Ah.
The better part. Sorry.
What, the one that's slightly a river across?
It's a highway, but short.
It's a river of cars.
Depending on where.
It's a sea of metal.
So in Kansas City, Missouri, where I lived, we had Google Fiber, but Google Fiber took about a week after I moved in to properly like install. Like they had to go through some shit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a collection of 5 DVDs. And I remember 3 of those DVDs.
Sure.
Rush Hour,
Uh-huh.
Legend of the Drunken Master, also Jackie Chan.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Street Fighter, the cartoon movie.
Oh,
man.
Wow.
Happy Gilmore was 4. Billy Madison was 5.
Wow.
There's
Okay, that explains a lot. Don't get me wrong. None of these are terrible movies.
liquefied 90s.
But there is a part of it where it's like, okay, so Ben's favorite movies, these are his favorite movies due to Stockholm.
Just abuse.
Well, it kind of gets there, right? So I had a week to like without internet, without cable, and
No, because like I once dated someone who their thing that they watched all the time. The only thing that they had at their apartment was the DVD box set of what's the gay sitcom?
Sex and
not Sex and the City.
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace.
So they
really
watched
good?
Will and Grace all the time. And it's like, you know what? It's not a bad show, but it's like, man, that's the only thing you can watch. So I hope you like it.
Look, first of all, that's how Nick and Knight stays afloat with Friends.
Oh, don't get me started on the
Friends
fact...
is a bad show.
Don't get me started on the fact that Nick at Night is no longer the channel where you go to watch, like, Dick Van Dyke.
Also true. But to my point, to the original reason I told this story is that I had eventually Google gave me my fiber. Like, it gave me internet access.
Mm-hmm.
They just showed up. Here's some fiber.
I didn't. It's not
So
feta
good.
fiber.
That poop was so good.
I didn't realize that they had given me internet access until another week afterwards.
Oh my God,
I kept watching Rush Hour.
Ben!
To the point where he logged onto Google to look up where he could watch Rush Hour some more.
then realized, fuck, I have internet.
I asked Alamo Drafthouse if I could have a custom viewing of Rush Hour, and they never emailed me back.
You emailed Alamo Drafthouse?
I email a lot of people for stupid requests.
Alamo Drafthouse, get back at Ben.
I kind of want to at them now. They're the guys who did the print runs of Dangerous Men and Miami Connection. They're mad people.
Yeah.
This is, if I can tell, a very quick sidebar.
No, go for it.
Completely irrelevant. I email a lot of people for stupid shit. I emailed every single mayor of any city in Arkansas asking if I could be the mayor. Hold on. One of them got back to me and said, do not...
No. You're dropping an important part about this.
Which part am I missing?
If you could be the mayor for
1 minute.
Yeah.
Mayor for a minute. You could pick the minute. That was my slogan. You could pick the minute.
Minute to win it.
Minute to mayor it. One of them got back to me and said, do not contact me again. One of them had a fucking, what was it, like a geocities.com email address.
Oh no.
And no one else got back to me.
Ben, what is it like to live a day in your life?
Well, it's mostly trying to game my way into political positions that I have no business being into.
I mean, it's a mayor in Arkansas. How fucking hard can it be?
You know that Queen song is like, got to break free?
Yeah.
That's Ben.
In all honesty, how hard can it be to live as a mayor in Arkansas? Just accept Monsanto's money, shut up, and give the key to a city to someone who needs a shitload of fried food at a fair.
This is not a joke. I ended 80%, and I did the demographic research on this. I ended 80% of my emails with "Make America Great Again," Benjamin Albert Zingas. Keep in mind, that guy is a fucking twat. But if I'm going to play the game, I'm going to play the game.
You got to play into strengths.
Right.
And the important part is doing your research.
Never show Ben House of Cards.
No, I watched...
He would learn so much.
No, I've watched House of Cards. I watched the entirety of House of Cards, and the last season is bollocks.
Hey, remember how Kevin Spacey totally is in that show and how it's really just Robin Wright and Mahershala Ali as the lead stars?
Well, that's the season that's coming out at the time of this recording. It's not out yet. But I digress.
But, Andrew.
It ties us back nicely into Brett Ratner, doesn't it?
Oh,
God, son of a bitch!
That's how I planned this secretly!
I hate that looped.
As much as it kills me to say, Andrew, what do you think about Rush Hour?
I like it. I think it's a fun movie. I think that every single time, you know what was really funny? I realized that I had been watching the censored version. You ever had that moment where the movies...
You were watching the Walmart version of something?
Well, no, but like... well, you ever have that moment that, like, when you were younger, when you would just watch movies that were on television. When you would boot it up again when you're older and you're like, wow, that fucking wasn't there the first time around. And then you quickly realize that, oh, right, it was on TNT or TBS or USA and it was censored and I just didn't think those parts were there. Where you watch it through again, you're like, wow, I don't remember, like, these entire 10 minutes being here. I watched Dogma, like, when I was, I think, 18 for the first time on YouTube after watching it on Comedy Central, being like, oh my god, there is so much more to this movie that was just gone. I had that experience with Rush Hour. It's good. Like, I remember watching it probably, I think I've seen it 4 or 5 times. I remember every time being
4 or 5 times.
I remember being like, yeah, this is an entertaining, fun movie. It's good.
Children, sit down and let me tell you a tale of the free weekend for premium channels.
Oh, God. Okay, go on.
Okay, so I'm gonna get something to drink.
No, it's just a sidebar. The fact, when you're talking about watching movies on TNT and all that, I did that too, and I watched, like, Fox was always showing Back to the Future for whatever reason, besides the fact that it's a fantastic trilogy.
Yeah,
of
that
films.
Sounds like them.
But haven't seen it.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing is, like back when I was a little kid, like super little, Disney Channel was still a premium channel. Then you had like HBO, Showtime, and all those, Cinemax, whatever.
Yeah.
And like they would have free weekends. And during that time, it'd be like a marathon, sort of like a pledge drive kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Where they were trying to get you to subscribe. So they'd have interstitials between movies. that would be like, this is why you should sign up for HBO. HBO is great, blah, blah, blah. And then they would always show you like uncut versions of films. And for that reason, my family had an uncut version of RoboCop 2. And we had an uncut version.
Did you just record it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
that's all. You don't subscribe to those channels. You just record the shit.
That's how you do it.
They send you a schedule that tells you when those movies are going to be on.
And you're like, okay, set VCR recorder.
Exactly.
Like these hours, buy the tape.
We also had an uncut version of Roger Rabbit, which was great because the only difference between that and the cinematic release was that there was an extra scene with Eddie Valiant that got a Toon pig head painted over his head. And like that was then kicking out of Toontown. And he's like, I was like, screaming his head off with a giant cartoon pig face.
I was just about to make a joke about how important Jessica Rabbit was to your sexual development, but I think that comment takes the cake, and I can't go any fucking further. All right, my comment just got blown out of the fucking
don't get me wrong. Jessica Rabbit was still an important part of my sexual development.
I mean, fair.
Let's move on.
Whatever.
Wait, we're gonna. That's the segue.
I've always considered myself something of a Roger Rabbit.
So you never did answer. You never did answer the question. How do you feel about Rush Hour?
I like this movie. It's a movie I haven't seen in a long time, and I've always just kind of written it off as a generic '90s action film. But actually, that was another thing I was going to bring up is that. In the 90s, there were a lot more action films that had either diverse leads or just straight up non-white leads. Like you had Antonio Banderas, Will Smith,
Jet Li.
What?
Jet Li was in there.
Jet Li, Jackie Chan. You had Eddie Murphy in movies like a solo lead.
Yeah.
And it's like in the 90s, back before everything had to be like a blockbuster or bust, when they were willing to spend like $33 million on a movie, like you had a lot more diverse films coming out than you do now. And that is frankly frustrating me. And it makes me happy to know that like a company like Netflix, say what you will about them, they're coming in and filling in that niche market of the lower budget film.
Yeah, that serves a specific audience. They're not being like, we don't want... Jim Sterling's talked about this before, where it's the COD effect on video games. We're like, we need to eat all the money. And it's like, no, you don't... You can make small films to eat some of the money. Well, some of the money is fine.
They're not making AAA films. They're not making B movies. They're making, like, A- films.
Yeah. That, like, it doesn't need to eat all... You don't need to be Michael Bay's Transformers, where you're like, we need $2.2 billion right now.
You can spend $50 million on a movie and...
Make 150 and you're fine. Yeah. And it's okay.
Not to mention it's like a constantly recurring rolling payment. So it's like people just continue to watch this movie. It was a good investment.
I think you and I talked about this during the Kevin Smith thing when we were talking about Dogma, where that was Kevin Smith's entire ideology on film, where it was, did this movie make enough to make me the next movie? Yeah. Oh, it did? Sweet. Let's keep going.
We've lost the art of the stupid movie. And I'm not saying like most comedies are dumb, right? But like there's just like a dumb like get into an action movie, right? Like, and this goes for anything, like dumb horror movie, dumb whatever. Like it's like you're saying, it's blockbuster or a bust. It's a fresh tomato or it's a spoiled tomato. There's like ratings are now binary, and it's really frustrating. A rotten
tomato, perhaps.
Is that not what I said?
You said spoiled.
Well, I wanted to avoid copyright, but now we're in here.
No, the thing is, like, Andrew is a spoiled tomato, and he's a pedant as well. I say as if I'm not, and you're not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you fucking judge me on this, John.
This entire show should just be called Trio of Pedants. Anyway.
Is no one going to ask me how I felt about the movie?
I mean, we kind of pieced it together.
You already said.
How many times have you seen this movie in aggregate?
Yeah.
Wait,
just throw a number rough estimate. Entire lifetime, how many times have you seen this fucking movie?
500?
Realistically.
500?
Shit. All right.
Quick question. When's the last time you watched this movie?
About 6 months ago.
Okay, so we're going to watch this movie, kind of breaking our rule, because these are supposed to be movies we haven't watched recently.
No, but this is a movie that I've watched so much that you might as well not have watched it.
I mean, I've seen Star Wars when we were doing the episode for Ben recently.
How dare you?
You don't abide by your own rules.
Anyway. You come into my house.
You're literally in my apartment.
And you judge me?
So this is also not a joke. My Tinder profile, and this explains a lot. It says like favorite movies: Rush Hour, Rush Hour 2, Happy Gilmore. Favorite games. Undefeated at Mario Kart. Special skills. Can lift up to 50 pounds.
And once again, if you'd like to get at Ben, look him up on Twitter.
Or look him up on Tinder, apparently. If you're in the Seattle area.
God, that's gonna... Oh, God.
People know we're in the Seattle area already.
We've literally talked about this on every episode.
That's fair.
I don't think I've spent an episode not bitching about the
But
weather.
now they're going to know what
area.
my face looks like, and that's going to be an issue, because I'm going to be at a bar, and they're going to be like, oh my God, you have a great podcast. Rush Hour is such a good movie.
I will be so jealous if that happens to you.
That happened to us, John.
Ben, we don't have fans.
Yes, we do. John and I met a fan.
That's true. That was a while ago.
Yes, that was a while ago. But
That
we have a fan.
was it Cameron?
No, yeah, it was not Cameron.
No,
Hi, Cameron.
Oh, it was Rob.
No, it was not an employee of the High Five.
It was Steven?
Not a... Oh, I can't.
Anyway, does anyone have anything else structural to add to this?
Honestly, no. I haven't seen this movie in long enough where a lot of this is missing. I remember
Basically, all I can remember is, whoa.
Who? Good God, y'all.
Can't pay the copyright.
Absolutely nothing.
Licenses are expensive.
Don't sing it again, because we can't afford it.
Can't actually afford that.
Ooh,
I do remember the stunts being super fucking sweet. I will say, this is one of the first movies where I think I realized I genuinely like martial arts films. Watching Jackie Chan do stunts, and I'm like, as like 10-year-old me, I was like, this is fun. I like this.
Martial arts by a martial artist.
Yes.
And, I mean, Jackie
martial
Chan...
arts done specifically by Jackie Chan, which we've talked... I don't know if we talked about before on this show, but John and I have definitely talked about where Jackie Chan is able to add a sense of comedic fun to what is in actuality a really sweet series of martial arts.
The thing is, I think we can get into that in the next episode.
Oh, definitely. No, yeah, but like... Just, that's, I think, my last structural thing. I'm like, this was just a really fun movie as a kid to be like, that looks awesome. Like, it's fun.
And so...
It's entertaining.
Ben, this is just going to be fun for you.
Yeah.
Andrew...
remembering my childhood?
And here's the thing. I kind of want us to watch this movie under the lens of, like, how does it stack up amongst other Jackie Chan films?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, because we all know that this is going to be a fun movie to watch. And for those listening at home, I really want you to go into this thinking about, like, how does this compare? Because I think it's still going to be fun. I don't want to discredit the film.
Sure.
But I think it is worth thinking about because Jackie Chan made a shit ton of good movies.
Yes, he did.
On that point, if we're going to compare it to other Jackie Chan films, this is worth asking. What is your bona fide Jackie Chan film?
It is either the second version of Drunken Master or Rumble in the Bronx.
Okay. Andrew?
I haven't actually seen that many Jackie Chan movies.
Oh my God.
I've seen every single Bruce Lee movie, so don't at me, motherfuckers.
So your favorite Jackie Chan movie
is
Bruce
Lee. It's actually Enter the Dragon. No, I mean, as far as Chinese martial arts films, I'm actually lacking a good amount. I would say I've watched a shitload of Bruce Lee movies. Well, not shitload. I've watched his 4 and then the Unfinished Game of Death short. Like, I know martial arts films, I just, like, Jackie Chan is one of those blind spots in martial arts movies where I'm like, I just don't know a whole lot. Like, I've never seen Legend of the Drunken Master. I've never, like, watched a lot of those films just because it was never on my radar to watch those
So
films.
we're going to do a series of Andrew Sees Jackie Chan films.
Can I force you all to watch the Bruce Lee movies?
No, you get to
I've watched all of them, but yes.
You don't get to hold this hostage, but I'll agree to it anyway.
I mean, they're good. Like, you would just enjoy them.
You don't get to hold Jackie Chan hostage.
No, I'm not holding Jackie Chan hostage. Also, Bruce Lee would beat him in a fight.
Anyway, any last thoughts? Because it smells a lot like barbecued bratwurst and burgers in here.
I know, I want it really bad. Or the apartment's on fire.
As soon as possible.
The apartment's secretly on fire. That bacon grease I have.
Rush Hour's final thoughts. Rush Hour, best fucking movie, 2018.
Andrew?
It's fine.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.